Hey there, thanks for checking out this video. In this video, we're going to address a couple different movements that are going to help us with upper cross syndrome as well as lower cross syndrome. So upper cross syndrome, if you can see here, that's where our shoulders are up and our head jets forward when we want to do movements. And then lower cross is really just an anterior tilt of our pelvis. So our pelvis, we want it to be level. Oftentimes people are tilting forward because they're on computers. And upper and lower cross syndrome, they're often seen together. So this movement exercise and series is a really good beginner workout for anyone who has both of these things going on so that we can address them and get more functional movement going forward. I hope you enjoy.
All right, in this video, we are going to go over some movements to address upper and lower cross syndrome, which essentially means that we have some pelvic and some shoulder alignment stuff that is off due to muscle imbalance. So the first movement is going to be a plank. And when we do a plank, you notice the most important thing I'm doing is keeping my core really tight. You almost want to feel like you can see there pulling your pelvis up towards your ribs and your ribs down towards your pelvis. This is going to help strengthen your abs to um, use your glutes properly as we go forth into different types of movements. You can see too, you can do, this is called a high plank. When you do it from your hands, I'm just stretching out the posterior chain there. But again, either high or low plank is an option. Low plank is from the forearms, high plank is from the hands, and you'll see switching between the two movements is a great practice to utilize as well. And then next we are going to, all right, next we have a kneeling hip flexor stretch. This is really important. With sitting in desks a lot, our hip flexors get really tight. So you can see the most important thing I'm doing here is I'm engaging my core and my glutes nice and tall, shoulders down the back. And then with that knee that's on the ground, the same side arm, we're just stretching and reaching as high as we can towards the sky. That's going to really open up that hip flexor. You'll see in this video, I give it about 45 seconds each side. You can also, as you see there, I'm leaning into that planted leg. My left foot is down. That's actually going to help to just stretch out the calf, which is another muscle that can get overly tight when we are sitting a lot. And yeah, give it 45 seconds on each side. Keep going here as well. Take the shirt off, getting warm. With these movements too, a lot of times people think that when it comes to exercise, we have to be doing really intense shit, like fucking. We'll do some burpees, which are more intense, but people think that you need to be doing like squats and push and pull movements and pull ups and all this shit. And honestly, if we can just focus first and foremost on correcting our movement patterns and moving the proper way, that's going to help us the most. One other thing that you'll notice in this video as well, my back foot is curled underneath, and so that's going to help protect my knee joint, which is really important. We really want to protect our knees and our hips, especially when we get into more exercise on a regular basis. So you can see there too, just adjust them a little bit. Really reaching tall through that knee, the knee that's on the ground, and you want to be pretty much straight up as much straight up as you can. And again, you should feel the stretch in your hips, the kind of front down towards your thigh, and that's called the kneeling hip flexor stretch. All right, next movement we have is called the basic bridge, and this is a movement that's going to help activate our glutes. A big part of the lower cross syndrome is the fact that we have forgotten how to engage our glutes on a regular basis, and this does come from sitting so much. So you can see my feet are planted. I'm keeping my low back flat when it is down, and all I'm doing is I'm pushing my hips up, and at the top, I'm really squeezing my glutes basically as hard as I can. This is firing them up, getting them going on all cylinders, and I'm recreating myself to A, strengthen my glutes, but B, to have them be more active going forward. You'll notice in other videos that I put out too, really focused on glute activation. It's such an important thing for us when it comes to functional movement, to relearn how to use our glutes and our butt muscles. That's how we get thick, 2 C's. So next we're gonna go. All right, now this next movement, you'll see, I'm gonna tell you, keep that low back really, really flat. What we're doing is a movement called supine W to Y. So the most important thing with this movement, again, is to keep that low back completely flat on the ground. This will keep our core engaged. It's going to help keep the glutes engaged and reteach us how to keep our core engaged and strengthen our core going forward. You'll notice my arms as flat on the ground as I can, and this is actually a good movement for the shoulders. It's going to help with the upper cross and kind of the head jutting forward and the really tight shoulders in general. And all I'm doing is I'm engaging my middle and lower trap muscles, which is kind of your middle and lower back, and also my lats, which is the sides of our back. And I'm using those muscles, engaging them to pull down, so my arms look like a W, and then back to the Y. So think of like the YMCA movements. All right, the next movement here is, again, focused on the upper cross. You can see I am mindfully engaging my core. I am pulling my ribs down towards my hips to really just keep myself in a good spot. I'm doing a chest stretch. So you can do this on the wall. You can see there I'm using this bar that's in place. All we're doing is we're putting our arm flat against the wall, and then we're turning the opposite way to open up our chest. And you'll notice too, I think earlier in the video, I kind of pointed to keeping your shoulders down your spine. So you don't want to be hunching up your shoulders per se. You want to keep them down, really opening up that chest. Again, with computer culture and the way our society is, almost everyone has tight chest muscles because we are rounded forward and leaning forward so much of the time. So again, really focusing on opening up that chest, doing some heart opening. There's different ways you can go about this, but this is just a really effective one when it comes to this workout in general. So spend about 30 seconds on each side doing this one. All right, getting moving again. The next movement we're going to do here is just a simple neck stretch. Again, when it comes to that upper cross syndrome, oftentimes the muscles in our neck, especially our upper neck, are extremely tight. So you can see I took the time to get really planted and grounded through my feet, through my core. And then all we're doing is we're dropping our head to one side and we're kind of gently pulling down. You should feel it through the rear and as well as the side of your neck muscles. It's going to help with your upper trap, stretching those out, sternocleidomastoid, which is a big neck muscle that we have, and the levator scapulae. So those are the scientific terms. You don't need to know that. All you need to know, be really just gentle with it. Move into these stretches as they feel fit. And then you'll notice too at the end, I actually do some neck circles. It's really just healthy to keep moving all those muscles, especially in the upper back and the neck and the shoulders area going, especially with being on the computer so much. So next we have upright pull or upright row. You can see I'm not using any weights. I actually recommend not to use weights at the start. And this is similar to that supine W to Y. We're going to engage those middle and lower trap muscles as well as the lats. Again, opening us up our chest, really helping us stay tall and move more functionally. You can see there too, I made sure to get my core engaged and my feet planted firmly before I started this movement. And then as you see my arms go back, really the pull is coming from my back muscles. I'm not just moving my arms mindlessly. You can almost see that my shoulders are retracting as I go. Imagine like you're standing up and you're doing a push-up. When we're doing a push-up, we're instead of pushing away the ground, we're actually pulling back our shoulder blades and pulling them together. That's going to help open that chest and alleviate some of the symptoms from that upper cross syndrome. All right, and then last but not least with this video, we do want to get our heart rate up, so we're doing some burpees. Do 10 to 15, and again with this entire movement, as you see in the description, we want to do all the movements. We're going to do 3 rounds. So whenever you see a workout that I post that says rounds, it means we're doing one movement after the other. For example, we're not doing everything in a row, so we're not doing 3 burpee rounds in a row at the end. You're going to be moving through all of these movements one after the other. So you'll do a plank, then you'll do that hip flexor stretch, then the bridge, then the arms W to Y, followed by the chest stretch and the neck stretch, the arm row, and then burpees. And that's all. That's what we got.
All right, thanks for tuning in for this video. Again, practice this exact workout about three or four times a week, and you're going to start to notice you're going to feel sore in very different ways. Again, it's not the most intense workout, but we need to get moving properly before we move more and do more intense stuff. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.